You are now tuned in to the best damn college football show out there, period. This is United Football Media's Tell Me About It in conjunction with DAR Sports Media. We are here on both channels to bring you all of the happenings in college football. There's been updates, there's been a new CFP dropped, and there is some controversy. We were discussing it the other day in the Discord. We always laugh about this from years gone by. And it is now rearing its head once again in modern times. Quality losses. It's back. Quality losses are back. This is why. Now, to me, this is much ado about ultimately nothing. If Miami wasn't in the bracket, then I would have a much bigger problem. But people are losing their minds and throwing their toys out of the crib simply because Notre Dame is ranked higher than Miami, when it's just a difference of a few spots. Neither is getting a bye. They're both in the tournament. But I don't mind it as much in that situation. But everyone does make a fair point that it kind of makes no sense. They said when comparing the two teams, Miami's two losses are to two unranked teams, and Notre Dame's two losses are to ranked teams. The problem is one of those ranked teams is Miami. So
yes, dude. Yes.
You are literally saying the losses that Notre Dame took are better than the losses that Miami took, and not the wins, because one of Miami's wins is over Notre Dame. A lot of anger, a lot of angst about this the other night. Tug, what are your thoughts, man?
Like the logical base from which they're assuming from is flawed, right? Because the whole idea of quality losses is basically saying to, like, oh well, the team that you lost to is better than you, right? Like or is ranked higher than, or should be ranked higher than you, or is going to go farther in a college football playoff, or is going to go farther in a later round, right? And so the entire idea of Miami 11, Notre Dame 9, because Notre Dame is not technically part of the ACC. It just comprises about half their schedule. And also I'll say to you, it's yes, it's only a couple spots. This is massive implications, right? Would you rather face Oklahoma in the first round, or would you rather face Ole Miss? Now that question could get turned on its ear in a couple of weeks, right? Yeah, exactly, right.
We'll talk about that today too.
And how amazing is the sport, right? That I feel like it's an honest, like, okay, take the entire Lane Kiffin, is he leaving? Like, let's just assume the Lane Kiffin's there. This is an easy question. I'd much rather face John Mateer in Oklahoma. John Mateer, who has looked completely up and down, either just lights out, or like the John Mateer that just like we talked about last week. I'm not going to rehash it. I think that just because you can do something quickly like surgery isn't necessarily a reason to. I heard recently, Arica, a really interesting phrase, and there's only two kinds of people that work on watches, that open up watches and work on them, right? Watchmakers and morons, right? So if this is something to be rushed, something like, surgery, I get it, it's on a thumb, it's not on, it's not on your brain, it's not on eyes, it's not on incredibly complicated parts of your body. That's on a thumb, and to do this, right? That's what separates us from everything else, right? Opposable thumbs and stuff like this, right? Maybe I'm talking too long about it. We went over it last week. All other things, going back to my point, all other things held constant. If Lane Kiffin's still there, I'd much rather play Oklahoma in the first round than I would Ole Miss, and that's really the big difference maker here.
Is any of Ole Miss's victories as impressive as OU going into Alabama and beating them?
Yes, but again, so we'll talk about this. Alabama does one. I think Alabama learned a great lesson from this, and Alabama really does one thing well, and that is Ty Simpson getting that. Ryan Simpson. I always do this. Ty Simpson. Thank you, Jesus. I always mess up the names, man. Ty Simpson getting the ball out quickly to his receivers. Oklahoma interrupted that, and their defense is amazing, right? We can take a look at Ole Miss, right? Solo lost 10 points at Georgia between the hedges and whatnot. Georgia, this was part of their 20 whatever wins in a row until obviously Alabama interrupted that. Ole Miss already beat Oklahoma, right? Like, and this is in Oklahoma, and it was by 8 points as well, right?
Okay.
So it is a single score, stuff like this. But people always say 8 points is a single score, like that's just easy to do, and it's not getting a touchdown and then doing it again, right? Is what it is. There's a massive difference between a 7-point loss and an 8-point loss, in my opinion. Yes, single score, but.
So the funniest thing about it, and you kind of touched on it, and we talked about it the other day, is they're talking about how quality the loss is, but the team that they're using to prop that up and say, look, Notre Dame has only lost to these great teams is a team that they will not rank above them. Like you're building the case for Miami while defending Notre Dame. It is
Yeah,
that, but
it
you know what?
makes
Ultimately, a part of me, a small part of me, especially because, like I said, like they're both in. They're both in the bracket. Unlike you, I kind of disagree. I think the gap between OU and Ole Miss is really not that much. Ole Miss is Ole Miss in my mind until they prove otherwise. So I'm not that worried about them. Um, like with Alabama last year. Hey, Miami, if you don't want nothing to bitch about, if you don't want no situation, don't get beat by Louisville. Like, sorry, don't know what to tell you. Like,
yep.
you know,
Yep,
um,
expanded playoffs, but that still holds true that every game matters, right? And no, it's not the situation where you lose 2 games in September and your season's completely over, no shot at anything. But that's still, in my mind, it makes games matter more because you control
oh,
your destiny
absolutely,
more as the season goes on, and then you get in these questions. I'll say this: I'd rather be having the conversations about quality wins and quality losses than I would with 2 losses to not the number 1 and number 2 ranked team in the country and your season's over, right?
absolutely. So, okay, any other thoughts on this bracket before we move to the bubble teams? Talk about some scenarios.
As far as the bracket, I love Tulane's season. And I'll just say all this based on if this, nothing changed whatsoever, and this is the bracket that we get. Obviously, some of these teams will change. I love that Texas Tech Tulane game. There's not a shot. And right now with where the teams are at for Tulane, taking that one down. I honestly think Alabama and Oregon will be a fantastic game. Dante Moore versus Ty Simpson. I feel bad for the winners of those because of what Indiana has done, and obviously we already saw an Indiana Oregon game. Uh, just as this holds true, Notre Dame Oklahoma will be freaking fantastic as well. You notice that Notre Dame's on the opposite side of the bracket from Texas A&M as well, right? Just based on how it is, of course, right now. And if
Yeah.
they did play again, then they would be there. The Texas A&M game that was their other loss besides Miami. Yes, it was by 1 point. Yes, you can you know, I'm a South Carolina fan. Don't rant to me about bad and referee interferences and bad calls and everything else like
Mm.
this. Yes, there was a missed holding call, yada yada. That is in the past and it's over and done with. Right? One team won, one team lost.
So, and another interesting aspect of this, if this was going down, is remember the higher seeds it's a home game.
Yes.
So on campus, so Alabama would be going to Oregon. That
Hmm.
to me is a very very spicy meatball. The rest of them are pretty common fare, but Alabama going to Oregon would be an interesting look. Notre Dame going down to Oklahoma. I think we've seen that in the past. Miami going to Ole Miss. A little bit interesting, but still, regionally pretty normal. Same thing. Tulane, Texas Tech, Alabama going up to Oregon interests me a hell of a lot. When we talk about the bubble, just outside of this, so BYU and
Wait,
Utah are
wait, wait,
right.
real quick. This is saying that Alabama and Oregon have never played.
Maybe not. So I'm trying to remember if it was Alabama that I heard this about. One of these SEC
Oh
powerhouses,
wow!
it actually might be Georgia, has never won a game east of the Mississippi or something crazy like that, some sort of crazy stat like
Wow.
that. Yeah, so I'm not surprised to hear that Alabama's never gone to Oregon. Like I'm said, that would
But
be
they never
awesome. That would
played.
be
Not
really
like
cool.
Oregon's never gone to Alabama either. That that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that is wild, given how long these teams. And hey, again, right? Like take all of this amazement from me and treat that as a fantastic thing. This is where we get to live in college football now, right?
Hell
Two
yeah.
absolute powerhouses of football. We're going to be facing each other for the first time in the year of our Lord 2025. How insane is that?
On campus in a do or
On
die
campus.
win or go
On
home
campus.
game. Hell yes. It's a beautiful thing. That's one of the things for your beloved 2014 playoff, 16 playoff. We get another round of home games, of on campus home games. I'm into that because
Yeah,
that
dude.
part is awesome, man. So back to the bubble. So BYU and
Mhm.
Utah are like right there on that bubble, but it's I just don't know how. I don't know what the entryway is for them to get into this bracket. Our guys, we talked about them last week. Vanderbilt, right there on the outside. They got the Tennessee game coming up.
Mhm.
I would assume here. Let me look at the bracket. They would look to need. Well, I don't know if even. So I'm going to assume number 11. number 11-ish, number 10-ish is going to be the ACC champion. So I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know if
12 will
Miami
be the group of
losing is
5.
going to necessarily help Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
I would think it would need to be like a Notre Dame loss. It would need to be another Alabama loss. Maybe I don't know if Ole Miss can lose enough to be out at this point. So while Vandy has a big game coming up, I don't know. I don't know who is going to be able to lose that's here at the edge of the bracket. Like, I don't know if there's enough opportunity for them to lose. I mean, Alabama's going to the Plains. They're going to Auburn, Iron Bowl. Anything could happen in the Iron Bowl. If they lose the Iron Bowl and Vandy performs admirably, gets a big win at Tennessee, maybe that's a path. Maybe I see that happening.
That's so tough. Obviously, Alabama playing Eastern Illinois, auto win. But the problem with that obviously is if it comes to any question of Alabama losing that 10th spot, then the question is going to come in: will Vanderbilt and Alabama played? And that was 14-30 in Alabama. And so that would come in. Vanderbilt's path is a tough one. Probably honestly easier for some of these ACC teams or Big 12 teams. Honestly, probably easier for BYU. We're looking at Cincinnati, which would look like a much better game if Cincinnati was still ranked, of course, and then UCF at BYU. That should be an auto W. UCF.
It looks like BYU, if they win out, can make the Big 12 championship. Are they gonna? So that begs the question: if BYU were to beat Texas Tech, are you getting 2 Big 12 teams at that point? Because the Big 12 champion's going to get in.
Yep.
And is Texas Tech beloved enough by everybody at this point to take a loss and still make it? They're up at number 5 right now. So logically, generally, if somebody is in the top 5 and they take a loss, they'll still make it. And so BYU, we looked at it. We were looking at the bubble teams. We were looking at the potential. BYU could still do it if they win out. If they win out and they win the Big 12 championship, they could still make it in. That again hurts our boys from Vanderbilt. That doesn't seem to, that's another tough part of this that could hurt their chances. USC got the win over Iowa this past week. A hell of a struggle up there. Out there on the bubble themselves. So looking at USC's path, they're at number 15 right now. They're right out there on the bubble, and they're going to Oregon this upcoming weekend. I don't know. How do we feel there? Is a win over Oregon, and we're assuming they're going to beat hapless UCLA. Does a win over Oregon, is that enough to lift them into this thing?
USC 2 ranked wins over Michigan, 18th at the time. Now they're still ranked, so that's going to matter. Lost to Notre Dame by 10 in Notre Dame. If USC beats Oregon, and again should dog walk UCLA all the way through, I believe we're looking at a path. We are looking at a path. We're looking at finally. Yeah. No, you have a very, very good point. And now this no longer just becomes a question of Ohio State, Oregon, and Indiana, right? Or well, I guess in order, Ohio State, Indiana, then Oregon. You'd have to bring USC into the conversation. Let's look at Indiana's not. I mean, and of course, all of this hinges. Well, no, Ohio State would still be in, just maybe not number 1 if it happened again. The big house, right?
Last but not least of our bubble teams, Georgia Tech. If they can beat Pittsburgh this weekend, they will secure their spot in the ACC championship. And we just covered that 11 slot, 10 slot. That's going to be the ACC champion.
Yep.
So they will be in the ACC championship game most likely against Miami. If they win that game, they're going to get in, and Miami's done for sure.
Yep.
So again, this cool stuff with the playoff. We just covered 3 teams that have a path. BYU has a path. Georgia Tech has a path. USC maybe has a path. I think there's a really good resume, a really good argument to make for USC if they can pull off the upset at Oregon. Hot take-itude heading into the tournament. Maybe it's not that hot of a take. Ohio State ain't going to make it. They're not. I don't think they're even going to get to the championship. This is one of the most despicably embarrassing. This schedule is so soft. If you slept on it as a pillow, it'd fuck your neck up. I don't know I don't know. This is such a soft schedule that they have played. They have played nobody all year, and
Yep.
that's the real issue. Is it isn't just you brought up or Ace brought up like the old Notre Dame seasons. Is you kind of get complacent. They're just whooping the hell out of all of these shitty teams the whole way. I don't know how they made it. The only bad Big Ten team they managed to not play this year is Rutgers or Maryland. Excuse me, they're playing Rutgers this weekend. They didn't play Maryland. All the rest of them, all the bum ass Big
Minnesota,
Ten teams,
Wisconsin, Purdue,
somehow
dude. This
ended up.
is
Illinois ended up on the schedule for
like,
Ohio State this year. It's not just how soft it is. It's the fact that it's been the whole season. You've faced no adversity. You've faced no teams that had even close to the athletes that you did. You've just been out here punking out all of these weak teams, and you're going to get in a game and you're going to be like, holy shit, those guys are fast. Holy shit, those guys are big. Holy
like
crap, those guys
Texas
are hitting us.
seemed like a great team to begin with. Sark literally just got coach circles around him in this
Yeah.
UGA game. You could even take out that punt, or the fake or the onside kick, right? The fake right there. You can even take that out completely. Take 7 points away from Georgia, give it to Texas, assuming they score on that. You're still talking about a double-digit win. I've been saying it all season. Quintravion Wisner is a fascinatingly talented running back. Arch Manning has a lot of potential, and I think is great for the culture, not just at Texas, but in college football as a larger part. But this is not a great football team, and they do not deserve their. So are they really 17th? That's what it says on Google right now. That
Yeah.
can't be.
Yeah.
That can't be right, bro. That's just that is. Yeah, that's a logo ranking, 100%. 17th. Yep, Texas 17th. 7-3, the top ranked 3-loss team. Are you kidding me, bro? Missouri at 7-3, whatever, it doesn't matter. They're not in the college football playoff bracket as of right now. If they get there with what we're okay, so who do they have?
There's
They
no way.
obviously have Texas A&M last, right? But that's going to be that should be the defining factor. Okay, Texas is no longer a conversation there. I'm just upset it's going to take the entire season to get there.
Ohio State, man, talk to me about it.
Defense is what Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. Carnell Tate might everyone talks about Jeremiah Smith, and yes, obviously fascinatingly talented, fast track to the NFL. Carnell Tate, but whoever. If I'm an NFL team, I'm looking at Carnell Tate for no other reason than nobody talks about him without Jeremiah Smith being at the front of the sentence, which is just bullcrap. Like fascinatingly talented, the way he's able to move around cornerbacks and make them think. It seems like such a simple thing to say, but the way he makes them think this momentum is going one way and then just quickly shifts it. Right? I might just be flowering up and using $5 terms to describe just a simple juke, but it's the way that he does it. It's kind of like those intangibles, right? I would buy so well, it's a buying low situation on a Carnell Tate because he's not going to be worth as much as Jeremiah Smith for only one reason. That's because they're on the same team. Often, I do like Ryan Day. I like Ryan Day a whole lot. Julian Sand is supported. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but he is nowhere near as good as quarterbacks on number one ranked teams that we've seen in the past, especially number one ranked teams that we've seen across 10 weeks or whatever else like that, or 9 weeks now or something like that, right? Of Ohio State number one. If this was Ohio State, if you took, the neuralizer, right? Men in Black, right? Bam! We neuralize the college football playoff committee. We force them to look at all this stuff, and they don't know what happened in 2024. I don't think Ohio State is ranked number one.
I don't think so either. We can go to it with this. Let's just look at their side of the bracket. Ohio State, are you taking them over Georgia? Hell no. I'll
No, I
ask
don't
you. I
think
won't
so.
influence you.
No. Go ahead.
Are you taking Ohio State over Georgia?
Not knee jerk reaction, yes, and obviously it depends on where, but no, especially after what we saw this past week. Georgia has taken a little while to get this together. I think Kirby Smart has finally realized the value in scoring more points than necessary, right?
Are you taking Ohio State over Oklahoma? I'm not even positive about that.
That's a damn good game. That's probably the two best defenses in
The
the
two best
country
defenses, one
right
team got a
now.
quarterback, the other team don't.
Yeah.
You're rolling
Fair.
Julian Saying out there against the Oklahoma defense right now?
That's tough. That's tough. You're talking about probably a full handful, 5 of them picks between those two. If they're forced to obviously throw the ball a whole lot.
Ohio State over Notre Dame. You're probably going to take them, but are you feeling
Yeah.
good about it?
Yeah. Anything above 4.5, -4.5, I would not take. I don't think that's a 3 or 4 point
Okay.
game.
Ohio State
Again,
over.
neutral site. Yeah.
And this is a double down off of the thing we just said about Oklahoma. Are you taking Ohio State over Texas Tech?
Yes. To
Mm.
win, yes.
Not
Yeah.
comfortably. Not feeling
No.
great
Yeah.
about it
To
though.
win, yes. Yep.
And then Ohio State over. Yeah. That Texas Tech defense is good, boy.
Again, we're kind of getting in the next question, like of like, or an extension of your previous question, right? You're talking like that's at least top 5 defense in Texas Tech, yes, against one of the best defenses, either number 1 or number 2 in Ohio State. But it's a good question. Yeah, I love this exercise. It's a fantastic point.
But I guess we're going to see because it's going to be Ohio State and Indiana in the Big Ten championship, right? So
It will
we'll
be.
be able
It
to.
will be.
And then Michigan's not a pushover either, so and that game's coming up as
They
well.
did. Michigan did just lose Justice Haynes for the season,
So there you go.
starting running back.
Any other thoughts on the bracket there, good sir?
I thought you were going to get to Texas A&M, and that was going to be the opportunity for me to
Well,
say, like, what do you mean,
I was
Texas
just
A&M?
doing just Ohio State's side of the bracket. We could
Yeah.
do. I'm not favoring Ohio State over anybody on the other side of the bracket. Maybe Miami / Georgia Tech, maybe, but other than that,
Oregon probably, but I wouldn't heavily favor them over Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama. Ole Miss that'd be a damn good game. That would be the test of Kirby Smart outside of a conference that I've wanted to see for a long time.
hold on a second. Pull up.
It's a darn good man. That's darn good. And yeah, no, Texas A&M. You know what? Ark. Let's not talk about it, right? Let's not be the football entity just creating content that has to talk about the elephant in the room. Let's just leave that sleeping dog lie. For any of those unaccustomed, I am a diehard University of South Carolina fan.
All right, coming up this weekend. Not a ton. Mizzou, are they gonna maybe stagger OU's path here to the playoff? You think?
Starting quarterback out last week. That's what we ended up seeing with Missouri against middling SEC team. Nah, I don't think so. Missouri. Yeah, defense is good. Bo Prebula, I think I'm saying that right. Out though, he had a lot of talent. I think the offense is going to like if this happened earlier on the season, they had a couple of games under the new guy. I can't remember his name right now. Sure, but nah.
Miami at Virginia Tech, a little bit. That feels like a possible boo-boo for them. It feels like both teams, both Georgia Tech going to Pitt and Miami going to Virginia Tech. If it was in Miami, I'd be like, okay, yeah, but at Virginia Tech, late in the year, going to be probably some soupy weather.
Oh,
Might get a little
is it
bit
what bad
weird.
weather?
Thoughts
Weather
on the
would.
two ACC showdowns that are going to shape some of this? Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh, Miami and Virginia Tech. Any thoughts on some possible boo-boos in that one?
I honestly kind of think Georgia Tech and Notre Dame are decently similar squads, right? They on paper have good defenses, right? And that is, obviously propped up by some of the teams that they have played, but they can give up massive points to great teams and then just have to play catch up. Now, how has that worked out for Notre Dame? And the one real test of that, which was against Texas A&M, they lost. That is going to be a really good team. I think Pitt got exposed by Notre Dame, and again, I think that's like those are decently similar teams. So I see Georgia Tech winning, covering. I obviously I've not checked. I mentioned this last time, not Justice Haynes King, excuse me.
Yeah.
Always seems like he's playing at least a little bit injured. I brought it up last week. I'm not sure if you ever actually got to see any of the clips or anything else like that. Just coach said he has a higher pain tolerance than the rest. How long will that show? As long as there's no injury there, I see Georgia Tech handling this one, especially with so much on the line.
I went on a little mini rant about that last year on the DAR football show. And I
Yep.
know this isn't the NFL, it isn't exactly the same, but quarterbacks who ran the ball 100+ times got hurt 100% of the time.
Oh wow.
Every single quarterback that year who carried the ball 100 times or would have
How
carried the
many?
ball 100 times. It was 10+. So
Oh
I
wow.
was also
Wow.
counting like Trey Lance. That was the year where Trey Lance broke his leg early in the season. So he would have carried the ball
Yeah.
over 100 times because that was the
Understood.
offense that year for the 49ers. But that year when Trey Lance broke his ankle early in the season, Every single one. 10 of 10. 100%.
Was there like a minimum weeks out? Like, did you count like a 1 week out type of thing?
No, just got hurt. Just missed time.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
got
Just
hurt.
missed any amount. Yeah.
The point is, people say, "Oh, running quarterbacks, it's not really a extra risk." Like, you're crazy. There's a reason. What's the shortest shelf life of any position, college or professional? Running back. There's a reason, because if you touch the ball more, purely from statistical probability, if you're running the ball more, there's more opportunities for something crazy to happen. It's not even just like, oh, taking the hits. Like, there's just more opportunity for something weird to happen, for somebody to land on your leg, for somebody to land on your arm,
exactly.
for you to
I mean,
land
you
weird.
take
Like,
a ball, you hit the ground, they touch you. Okay, that's not really any contact outside of the ground.
yeah.
You brush the ball for 25 times a game.
How often do we see non-contact where people tear the ACLs of their Achilles? You can't do that if you're not running the ball. I mean, Aaron Rodgers the one time, but you're more likely to do that from running the ball. So, like, yeah, Haynes King, like, you can say whatever you want about him being, oh, he has more pain tolerance, he's this and that. If he carries the ball a lot, he's going to be nicked up, just like a running back, just like a receiver, just like
college
anybody.
Football, NFL, a little bit different in that.
A little different,
I
yes.
do understand. I do understand
But
what you're
that's
saying.
the volume that Haynes King runs it. That boy runs it 25 times a game. So, yeah.
You take that into account with I mean, not that he's been sacked like a whole lot this season, but once you take that second part into account, where, like, if you're a quarterback standing up in the back and you're trying to throw it and you don't see that guy behind you, that is a that is a hit. 29-33. That is a hit right there that running backs don't generally get like are exposed to by any means, right? Like, whether the Statue of Liberty in the back and then getting hit just standing still, that doesn't happen for running backs as well. So I think that kind of backs up your point about quarterbacks.
I don't need a timestamp, baby. Ace said we're good. As long as we're not in here. As long as we're not in here doing the sports bar. As long as we're not in here doing Uncle Joey and the boys.
Understood.
Yeah,
I got a couple of those
we're good. At the baby shower, we're good. Last but not least, do you think any chance this USC upset happens over Oregon?
Southern Cal upset over Oregon. I mean, it's college football. I think it definitely happen. This is in Oregon as well. I'd have to look at that weather a little bit. So, just because, sunny California, USC is not going to be accustomed to playing in that one too often.
My thing is Oregon has looked mortal at times this year, for sure. So a powerhouse who seems a little susceptible to possibly getting upset. But USC is just not the type of program who pulls stuff like that off ever. They're usually the ones who are in that position, who have the big ranking, have the big star players, and then get upset by a gritty team fighting for their lives. USC is usually not the one who's on the other end of that arrangement. So I have a hard time seeing them pull it off.
I mean, just like a lot of big teams, I'm looking at this and, like, Penn State, a final 30-24 in overtime. Preseason would have anticipated this and thought this would have been a fantastic Oregon win. Since then, since seeing Penn State this season, that's simply not the case. Indiana, obviously, their one loss at home, 30-20, but taking it close to Iowa, like, Oregon's defense, obviously, Oregon is not the same, like, sort of, I'm not going to call him one-dimensional completely. Kurt Ferentz, not Ferentz, Iowa and their head coach, I can't remember his name. I'm not going to call them completely one-dimensional, but obviously it's a defensive-minded team that runs the ball a lot. Yeah. That's not really, that's not Dante Moore, and that's not Oregon, man. They have a decent defense, but it's not anywhere near as, like, sole focus right there. Is just shut down and kind of control the clock and control the ball and stuff like that. I think it's going to be a damn good game. If you're asking me if USC is going to win, I don't think. Like, it's kind of back to what you said. This is not the stand-up spot they generally come through for. But again, there's a lot on the line right here for the University of Southern California.
If they're ever and possibly for their head coach as well. So if they lose, they're gone. Maybe he's gone. We will not be gone. We can be counted on to come through in the clutch. This is United Football Media with DAR Sports Media, the college football show. Tell me about it.